Hello. As we continue to take notes on our own, independent note taking on focus notes, I want to remind you that even if you are not taking notes with us or we do not have the framework like this, you still need to be using focus note paper and filling out all of the parts. So we have the first part that tells the topic or the unit. We have your name, class, and date. We have our essential question or purpose for learning or area of focus. I usually write them as an I can statement. So when you're taking notes today, you need to have all of that down. After that, you also need to have our main area of notes. As you progress in taking notes by yourself, I'm not going to be giving you a framework. I will be giving you visuals on my videos, but you need to be coming up with the different sections, right? So there's a review in this case. There is a new problem. So how are you going to write those notes? After you do that part, then you also have your questions or main ideas or vocabulary. This is where you're answering asking a question that this can answer, right? So it might even be the same exact question that you write over here. So that way, when you fold your paper in half, you can turn it over and see the correct answer. All right, so make sure as you're taking these notes, you have all of those parts. We are going to start with the estimating part. I am just going to quickly run down our how-tos. So first, we're going to do what perfect square is it between? In this case, the square root of 38 is between the square root of 36 and the square root of 49. Next, you're going to determine which perfect square is closest. Which perfect square is closest? Well, the square root of 36 is only 2 away, where the square root of 49 is 11 away. So we know that this is closest. It's really close to the square root of 36, which is 6. So my first guess, so you have to make your first guess, is closer to 6, so 6 point something, really close to 6, so maybe 6.2. Then you're going to multiply that, and then you're going to make your second guess, which if it's lower, it'll be 6 point. So if this number is too much, your second guess will be 6.1. If it is too little, it'll be 6.3. Second guess. And then you're going to answer. So I am just doing a quick overview here. Quick overview. But remember, you have your other video that you can look at on BB9. So you can check back and retake notes if you are still confused. So we're going to go on to our new topic now, which is just numbering on a number line, but we've already done that with all rational numbers, but now I'm going to add in an irrational number. So please remember that I want to see what you are doing as far as your justification goes. That is a huge part of your assessment, the justification, which just honestly means. Justification just means justification means telling me what the number means. So 6 goes into 25 4 times with 1 left over. So it is bit more than 4. This is exactly 4. This one, it's a negative. 6 so it goes into 26 4 times with 2 left over. And so it is a bit more than negative 4, but more than the 4 and a 6. And then the square root of negative 18. So we know it's going to be negative, and then we have to find our perfect squares. But in this case, because we're just estimating on a number line, you don't actually have to do the multiplication unless it's really close. So we have a 16 here, and we have a 25 here. So the square root of 16 is negative 4, and the square root of a negative 25 is negative 5. And I actually have these flipped because it's negatives. So we're going to have a negative 5 is less than that square root of negative, oh my goodness, negative 18, which is less than a negative 4. So we know that it is really close to that negative 4. So it is going to be negative 4 point something. Please do not get confused with the negatives. And if you do, you have to ask us. They're confusing because remember they're the exact opposite of what we do with the positives. So I'm first going to do my A, which is a bit more than 4. So here's my 4. I'm going to go a bit more than that because it was just 1/6 more. Then my B was exactly 4. And then my C, it's negative 4, which would be there, but it's a bit past that. 2/6 is 1/3. So if it was 1/2, it would be 1 here, right there, but it's a little bit less than that. So I'm going to put my closed circle, and I'm going to put a C above it. And then my last number for this one is approximately, we decided, I believe, negative 4.2, because it had to be between a negative 4 and a negative 5. And here, this is where it might get a little tricky. Negative 2/6 is the same thing as negative 1/3. So hopefully you learned from the last lesson that that means negative 4.3 repeating. So this one is a little bit less. So if we blow this out, we know that it is a little bit less than that. All right. Please, 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 because I know this was very quick for those of you that didn't need it. For those of you that may have missed or are not so good with the estimating or that square root, it's okay. It's okay that you're not okay with it. We will fix it. You need to ask questions. Lean on your supports and make sure you ask questions. All right, you may fill in your questions over here and your summary, and then begin your assignment. Peace out.